Hi, welcome everyone. We are the Political Pundits, DICKS. That is who we are. And now we are going to be looking at the official election results for the 2020 election. And we're going to be talking about what happened in the different swing states and comparing it to how we predicted.
Yeah, so now that most of the results are in, and some of the states are actually already certified, we can now go in and say and compare our results to the actual outcomes, as I don't see any of these states changing or flipping back after any recounts. All right, so we're going to move west to east, and we're going to start and look at Nevada. So we predicted Nevada would go to Joe Biden, and it only went by, I think that's what, 2.5%? So I think that we both got that right, as I think we both had it lean,
I think you had likely on that one.
probably. So I had it likely, he had it lean, so he was right. I was overestimating. I mean, my entire prediction was an overestimate. Looking at some of these states and where they ended up, definitely did not fit my prediction whatsoever. However, we move over to Arizona. Arizona actually pulled out for Joe Biden. The polls were basically correct within their margin of error. Joe Biden wins this state by 0.3%, 11,000 votes. Although it is
All
being
right.
recounted, I do not see it flipping back.
So my prediction was actually correct because I had to tilt Arizona.
Yes, you had tilt, and I think I had lean. So,
Yes.
but again, it was within margin of error, so at least the polls for this were actually decent. Next, we have the state of Nebraska. While we know Nebraska at large was going to go to Donald Trump, what was really shocking is how accurate the polls were for Nebraska's second district. It swung 9 full points uh, from 2016 and went to Joe Biden by, I think, what was it, 7%?
I think it was about that.
Which I think it stunned a lot of people. I don't know about you, but I think it stunned a lot of people to see it go that far left.
How did it swing that far? Like, what type of people live there
I
in the
mean,
second?
Nebraska's second is the city and suburbs of Omaha.
Right, then that explains it.
Well, yeah, so I can see how that happened. Kansas, I admit I was definitely wrong. Definitely not safe, or definitely
I,
definitely not likely. It was definitely a safe margin, but just barely, by 0.1%. It was barely.
how about Alaska? You had Lean Alaska.
Listen, that's likely Alaska. I'm only off by one so far, like
I
one
had
one
like
term so far.
Alaska.
I'm only off by one characterization so far. Just wait till we get further over. Speaking of Iowa, this is likely Trump. I had what was it? I think I had tilt Biden.
And I had a Lean Trump.
Yeah, I definitely way trusted the polls way too much. Where this is a 9 point gap, nowhere close. The polls were way off, and so was my prediction.
How about Texas?
I think Texas I had lean, right?
Uh,
I
how about
definitely it
actually?
definitely was
How
not
about,
tilt. All right, yeah. So we both had lean Texas. I mean, again, I'm except for Iowa so far, I've only been off by one characterization. This is barely likely, as that's what 5 point something.
uh,
I think that's
it's
5.8,
just about. We'll round
yeah,
it up 6 points.
6 points. So while this did shift leftward from 2016, it definitely did not get anywhere closer than or as close as I was expecting, which is unfortunate. I was really rooting for Blue Texas as a miracle. Um, moving over, even still, we have. Oh, we've even neglected the Rust Belt.
Ah,
All right,
Minnesota.
moving up to Minnesota was a 7 point difference. I think that goes right along with both of our characterizations as a likely state.
We both had likely Minnesota.
Yep. So at least the polls for this one were relatively correct or within the margins of error. So I guess the
For
polling
Biden.
depends on the state. Yeah, the polling was off in certain states, but some states it was actually really good. So maybe polling isn't dead after all. No, it definitely is. Moving down the Rust Belt to Wisconsin, this is by just over half a point, and I believe I had this lean Biden, and
Yes, we both
clearly,
had it.
yeah, clearly was off, but still relatively close. I mean, 0.6% compared to 1 to 2%, it's not that bad.
The
Um,
polls in that state were trash. Absolute
yeah,
goddamn
the
trash.
Rust Belt,
8 points for Biden.
the Rust Belt polls were just disgusting. I mean, what was it, plus 17 on one of the polls? Definitely did not happen.
Yeah.
Off by a full 15 points in Michigan, as this is what, a 2.5% gap. And I believe I did have likely Michigan, probably.
We both had likely.
Yeah, and this is barely lean. It's almost, oh no, sorry. Yes, so this is a lean characterization, off by one yet again. Although Pennsylvania, I think we both got right, as this is lean.
Yep, we both had that one right.
Oh wait, sorry, no, that's just under 1%, so that is tilt. So again, we were
Oh,
off. Yeah, sorry, it's barely under 1%. So
but was Wisconsin closer than Pennsylvania?
Wisconsin is closer than Pennsylvania.
Yeah, that wasn't expected.
Yeah, no, I thought Pennsylvania was going to be the closest one. Moving southward to North Carolina, it goes to Trump by just over a point. And I believe I had tilt Biden, so that was obviously wrong.
And I had tilt Trump.
Yeah, so I was off by two characterizations, as this is lean Trump because it's just over 1%. Again, unfortunate, trusted the polls too much. Although it looks like there's still maybe 5% left of the votes to count, but I really doubt it's going to narrow it up or flip at all.
How did it turn out in South Carolina?
South Carolina, 12%. Unfortunate.
Okay, so
I believe I
it's
had
not
that as
likely.
likely. So was that
We
right?
both had it as likely.
Awesome. At least I get some states right. Moving down to Florida, I had tilt Biden. Clearly, this was way off, as it went to 4 points to Donald Trump, which is
Yeah,
insane.
I had tilt Trump for that one, but still it was a little off.
I did not see this coming whatsoever. I thought it was going to be close. This is not close at all.
With the Cubans.
Yeah, the
Told you about the
Cubans
Cubans.
and the lack of voter turnout in Miami-Dade County really swung this state to the right from everyone's expectations.
And here comes the big one.
Yeah, here comes the biggest state of the night that really shocked everybody. And what I thought, just like I thought blue Texas was a miracle, I thought blue Georgia was a miracle. And here we go, we got it by just over or just under 0.3 of a point. Georgia went blue, and I think I got that one spot on, and I'm proud.
Good. I put lean red for that one, so I was off on that one.
So, the blue Georgia, I think that's the biggest shocker besides any two, is the fact that Georgia, for the first time in I think it's 30 years, has gone to a Democratic candidate on the presidential ticket. So I think that's pretty awesome. While we were off for a lot of these states, we were still pretty close. I mean, we were definitely closer than a lot of the polling. So, screw you, pollsters. You suck.
So what was your total? Your official thing was 357 Biden. That was your
Yeah.
prediction.
And what
I
was
had
yours?
I had 290 Biden, so I was one state off.
Yeah, you had Georgia off. And I had, what was it? I had Iowa, North Carolina, and Florida all off.
Yes.
But
Then you had a lean Alaska.
yes, I know.
Yeah.
But I mean, one state off for you, 3 states off for me. That's pretty good. Beats a lot of the pollsters who thought Ohio would be close. Ohio definitely was not close. 8 points. But yeah. All right, so now we're going to take a look at the Senate and House races. So we're going to start off with the House races first.
So what happened here is that Democrats kind of lost quite a bit of seats. They were actually expected to gain around 5 to 10 seats in the House, but so far, just scroll up a little bit. So far, they have lost 7 seats, and they're due to lose even more.
Yes.
And if you take where everything's standing right now and all the seats that the Republicans are likely to gain, Democrats will probably be at around a little over 220 seats, and Republicans will probably gain around 12 seats. So that was a total disaster, and now there's calls for Pelosi to no longer be speaker, so that's fun.
Yeah, I approve that. If we take a look at some of the races that haven't been called yet, there's this race. Wow, that's actually really close.
Yeah, you can't call that one quite yet.
No, you cannot. All right, that's only a 50 vote difference, but I'm assuming a recount won't flip that. So that's another pickup for the GOP. Then we come down to California 21. This is definitely going to the Republican candidate. So that's another pickup for the GOP. They're now at +9. Going over to Utah House 4. This definitely won't get overturned unless they have some sort of runoff where they have to run off with the top 2 candidates. I do not see Ben McAdams coming back and taking this seat. So that's a third pickup where Republicans are now at +10. The only good news for the Democratic Party is this House seat, which looks like it's going to comfortably go to the Democratic candidate, and this New Jersey seat that also looks like it's going to go to the Democratic candidate.
I actually heard about that one in New York you just pointed at. I saw someone doing an analysis on that. They said that all the outstanding ballots are in Republican strongholds and like the what do they call it? Some sort of ballots that favor Republicans.
Military ballots?
Provisional ballots.
Oh, provisionals. I mean, yeah, but that's 10. I see that. That makes sense as why that seat hasn't been called yet. But at the same time, it's a
Because
10,000 vote gap.
there's still a lot of Republican areas that I think still have to report.
Yes. Let me see. New York 22. That's definitely going to that candidate. I understand why it hasn't been called yet, but there's no way that's getting overturned. Are there any others that are visibly outstanding? Are they too close? Why is this one like this? Oh, that's a runoff.
I don't think that one's going to the Democrats.
Oh, no, it is not. It looks like they're going to have to run off, so that makes sense.
Yeah, so probably at the end, there'll probably be like a less than 10-seat difference between the two parties.
Which means in 2022, GOP is probably going to win back control, as the incumbent president always loses seats in the midterm.
Yep.
So unless Biden really does a good job pulling together the country, he is going to lose the House of Representatives come 2022.
Right, and now we're going to take a final look at the Senate. So Republicans, especially in Maine, those polls were trash. They overperformed in Iowa, North Carolina. Democrats, they took Arizona. Republicans flipped Alabama. Democrats took Colorado. And now the balance of the Senate lies in the state of Georgia, so that's pretty interesting.
Yep, both Senate seats failed to reach 50% of the vote, so they're both heading to runoffs. So now Georgia is having millions of dollars poured into it for ad campaigns for the special election to decide the fate of the Senate, where Republicans are at 50 and Democrats are at 48. So in order for Democrats to get control, they need to win both of these seats.
Right, and yet we will go more into depth with that in another video. So thank you guys for joining us. We are the Political Pundits, DICKS. That is who we are. You can dwell on that for your night.